Okay, guys, this is Britta, and we're back, and we're working on the foundation still, computer basics. Needless to say, whilst learning to code, you'll be spending most of your time on a computer. Hence, understanding how to work with your computer is crucial. In this lesson, we'll introduce a resource which will quickly get you up to speed with some computer basics. This section contains a general overview of topics that you will learn in this lesson: computer software and hardware, how to take screenshots, the importance of strong passwords. Okay, what is a computer? A computer is an electronic device that manipulates information or data. It has the ability to store, retrieve, and process data. You may already know that you can use a computer to type documents, send email, play games, and browse the web. You can also use it to edit or create spreadsheets, presentations, and even videos. We're not going to watch the video, but you guys are welcome to pause and watch if you like. What is an operating system? An operating system is the most important software that runs on a computer. It manages the computer's memory and processes, as well as all of its software and hardware. It also allows you to communicate with the computer without knowing how to speak the computer's language. Without an operating system, a computer is useless. What is an application? You may have heard people talking about using a program, an application, or an app, but what exactly does that mean? Simply put, an app is a type of software that allows you to perform specific tasks. Applications for desktop or laptop computers are sometimes called desktop applications, while those for mobile devices are called mobile apps. When you open an application, it runs inside the operating system until you close it. Most of the time, you will have more than one application open at the same time, which is known as multitasking. App is a common term for an application, especially for simple applications that can be downloaded inexpensively or even for free. Many apps are also available for mobile devices and even some TVs. Open source versus closed source software. Almost every piece of computer software is created using source code, which is the technical blueprint that tells a program how to function. When creators release their finished product to the public, they must decide whether to make its code open source or closed source. What is open source and closed source? With closed source software, also known as proprietary software, the public is not given access to the source code, so they can't see or modify it in any way. But with open source software, the source code is publicly available to anyone who wants it, and the programmers can read or change that code if they desire. Keep in mind that you don't have to read or modify any code in order to use an open source product. Which type is more common? The vast majority of apps, games, and other popular software is closed source. However, there are open source options for many types of programs. If you want an open source alternative to Microsoft Office, you could use LibreOffice. Instead of using Windows, you could try an open source Linux operating system. Other common open source examples include the Firefox web browser and WordPress blogging platform. What are the pros and cons? One of open source's biggest advantages is that it's usually free, although some features and technical support may cost extra. Also, because the code is available to anyone who wants it, public collaboration can fix bugs, add features, and improve performance within a relatively short amount of time. However, open source software isn't perfect. It may not be as user friendly as closed source software, and if you run into trouble, it may be difficult to find technical support, especially for less popular programs. Closed source software is more likely to be a stable, focused product, and if you need support, customer service is typically easier to access. However, closed source software often costs money, and if it has any bugs or missing features, you'll have to wait on the creator to address the problems. Now that you understand the difference between open and closed source software, you can take advantage of the type that best meets your needs. Taking screenshots. There may be times when you want to explain or show something that's happening on your computer screen or mobile device. Knowing how to take a picture of the screen, also known as a screenshot or screen grab, can be handy in a variety of ways, like when you'd like to capture an error message to show tech support. If you're on the phone with someone who needs help finding something on his or her computer, you can send a screenshot of your computer to show that person what to look for. If you'd like to save the confirmation number of a purchase rather than printing it or writing it down. Screenshots are captured by a screenshot application or through keyboard shortcuts. There are a few screenshot options available depending on how much of the screen you want to capture. You can screen grab the entire screen, the active window, or part of the screen. In this lesson, we'll share how to take screenshots for Windows and macOS computers as well as for mobile devices. Taking screenshots in macOS. Using the application from your desktop, click the Launchpad. This will bring you to your applications. The app you're looking for is called Screenshot. If you don't see it right away, check in Other. Once the application is in use, you'll see a toolbar pop up. You can choose from Capture Entire Screen, Capture Selected Window, and Capture Selected Portion mode. If you want to take a picture of your entire screen, select this mode in the toolbar. Your mouse's arrow will turn into a camera icon. Clicking anywhere on the screen, and you'll hear the sound of a camera clicking. The screenshot will automatically save to your desktop. If you want to take another picture, you'll need to reopen the application. If you want to capture a selected portion of the screen, click this option in the toolbar. You can change the screenshot's dimensions by clicking and dragging its corners. Once you've selected the portion you'd like to screen grab, click Capture in the toolbar. Once again, the screenshot will be saved to your desktop. Using keyboard shortcuts. Shift-Command+3. This takes a screenshot of the entire screen. Shift-Command+4. The mouse changes in a plus crosshair icon. Using the Shift-Command+4 shortcut, you can choose from two options. Click and drag the plus crosshair icon to take a screenshot of the part of the screen. Press spacebar. The mouse changes into a camera icon. Then click on a window to take a screenshot of that window. Taking screenshots in Windows. Using the application. Depending on which version of Windows you're using, the built-in application is either called the Snipping Tool or Snip and Sketch. While they offer some different editing functions, their core functions are more or less the same. Find the Snipping Tool or Snip and Sketch in your applications. When you open the application, the screen will darken. In the Applications toolbar, you have the option of taking a rectangular snip, a freeform snip, where you can draw the edges of your picture, a window snip in which you focus on a specific window, or a full screen snip. Let's say you want to take a rectangular snip. After clicking this option in the toolbar, click and drag the plus icon or crosshairs icon, holding the left button on your mouse. Drag it across the area you'd like to screen grab. Upon release, a picture will be taken and you can see it automatically in the application's preview. You can use the different editing functions in the toolbar and click the Save button once you are finished. Select a name, file type, and the pathway where you will be saving your screenshot, like the desktop. Using keyboard shortcuts. When taking a screenshot in Windows, you'll use the print screen key in your keyboard shortcuts. The image will copy to the clipboard. It's important to note that only one image at a time can be copied to the clipboard. Print screen copies the entire screen. Alt print screen, this copies the active window or dialog box. Once you've taken a screenshot, you can use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+V to paste it into applications like Microsoft Word, Google Docs, Paint, and Photoshop. You can then edit and save the image. Taking screenshots on mobile devices. To take a screenshot on newer Apple mobile devices, all you have to do is press the volume up button and the sleep/wake button at the same time. This will take a photo of what's on your screen and the image will save to your camera roll in the Photos app. If you have an older iPhone, you will hold the home button and the sleep awake button at the same time. To take a screenshot on most Android mobile devices, just press the volume down button and the power button at the same time. This will take a picture of your screen and the image will save to your gallery. Creating strong passwords. You'll need to create a password to do just about everything on the web, from checking your email to online banking. And while it's simpler to use a short, easy to remember password, this can also pose serious risks to your online security. To protect yourself and your information, you'll want to use passwords that are long, strong, and difficult for someone else to guess, while still keeping them relatively easy for you to remember. Why do I need a strong password? At this point, you may be wondering, why do I even need a strong password anyway? The truth is that even though most websites are secure, there's always a small chance someone may try to access or steal your information. This is commonly known as hacking. A strong password is one of the best ways to defend your accounts and private information from hackers. Tips for creating strong passwords. A strong password is one that's easy for you to remember but difficult for others to guess. Let's take a look at some of the most important things to consider when creating a password. Never use personal information such as your name, birthday, username, or email address. This type of information is often publicly available, which makes it easier for someone to guess your password. Use a longer password. Your password should be at least 6 characters long, although for extra security, it should be even longer. Don't use the same password for each account. If someone discovers your password from one account, all of your other accounts will be vulnerable. Try to include numbers, symbols, in both uppercase and lowercase letters. Avoid using words that can be found in the dictionary. For example, swimming one would be a weak password. Random passwords are the strongest. If you're having trouble creating one, you can use a password generator instead. Common password mistakes. Some of the most commonly used passwords are based on family names, hobbies, or just a simple pattern. While these types of passwords are easy to remember, they're also some of the least secure. Let's take a look at some of the most common password mistakes and how to fix them. Brian 12 Kate 5. I doubt anyone could guess my password. It's my kids' names and ages. Who else would know that? Problem. This password uses too much personal information along with common words that could be found in the dictionary. Solution. A stronger version of this password would use symbols, uppercase letters, and a more random order. And rather than using family names, we could combine a character from a movie with a type of food. For example, Chewbacca and pizza could become CHEWBACCAP exclamation ZZA. Password W3ST exclamation. My password is so simple. It's just the beginning of my street address with a few extra characters. At only 5 characters, this password is way too short. It also includes part of her address, which is publicly available information. Solution. A stronger version of this password would be much longer, ideally more than 10 characters. We could also substitute a nearby street name instead of her current address. For example, Pemberley Ave could become P3MBERLY% AV. 123 ABCCBA 321. My password follows a simple pattern, so it's easy to remember and type on my keyboard. While patterns like this are easy to remember, they're also some of the first things a hacker might guess when attempting to access your account. Solution. Remember that random passwords are much stronger than simple patterns. If you're having trouble creating a new password, try using a password generator instead. Here's an example of a generated password. If you use a password generator, you may also want to create a mnemonic device to make the password easier to remember. For example, H equals JNP2 number could be remembered as Harry equals Jessica North Paris 2 number. This may still feel pretty random, but with a bit of practice, it becomes relatively easy to memorize. Alright, Brave Z exclamation 2. I use the same password for all my accounts. This way I only have to remember one password. Problem. There's nothing really wrong with this password, but remember that you should never use the same password with different accounts. Create a unique password for each of your online accounts. Using password managers. Instead of writing your passwords on paper where someone might find them, you can use a password manager to store them securely online. Password managers can remember and enter your password on different websites, which means you won't have to remember longer passwords. Examples of password managers include LastPass, 1Password, and Google Chrome's Password Manager. Okay. This is a great example of a strong password. It's strong, long, and difficult for someone else to guess. It uses more than 10 characters with letters, both uppercase and lowercase, numbers and symbols, and includes no obvious personal information or common words. This password might even be a bit too complicated to remember without a password manager, which underscores why they're so helpful when creating a strong password. Remember to use these tips whenever you create a password to keep your online information safe and secure. Alright, knowledge check. This section contains questions for you to check your understanding of this lesson on your own. If you're having trouble answering a question, click it and review the material it links to. Is Windows an operating system or an application? It's an operating system. What's the difference between open source and closed source? Open source is collaborative. It's usually free. Closed source is proprietary and you can't change the code and you can't see the code. What are some use cases of a screenshot? You could use the screenshot to show errors or to help figure out a problem or to save a key or a code. Give an example of a weak and a strong password. A weak password would be using personal information that's easily accessible, and a strong password would be long with other symbols and not something that would be easily found. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and mark this one complete.